What's up, class? Welcome back to Animation Collab, where I animate various things in collaboration with other creators, illustrators, security experts, such as Attack, Detect, Defend, Andy's YouTube channel, where he discusses cybersecurity, and we've come together to animate a cybersecurity explainer video explaining how attackers might try to get into your system using the MITRE attack framework. Or rather, the MITRE attack framework explains some of the entry points and how you might be able to protect yourself. Or if you're a big corporation, probably more likely than you as an individual. We've been animating this series for over a year. I've taken a break for about 6 months, and now I'm back. Cannot promise to be super regular and scheduled with these streams, but I'm so excited to be back today, and I hope you are too, to find out what's next for our little blob character and our little hackers in the MITRE attack animation. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, about After Effects, about motion design, do drop your questions in the chat. I will be answering them as we are going through. And if you're watching this as a replay, of course, leave comments and I'll try and answer them. And yeah, let's get started. How excited are we to be streaming again? If you missed this, by the way, I do have a second channel now. That's going to be the new streaming channel, where if you're watching this on YouTube, you're currently probably watching it on the main channel because of YouTube application guidelines and so on. I have to wait 24 hours before streaming on the second channel, which I forgot that was a thing. I'll drop the link to the second channel in the chat, and you can go subscribe there, because going forward, all streams are going to be on the VODs, the second channel, and all tutorials are going to be here on the main channel on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, nothing is changing for you because I only have one Twitch channel. Hi, Conquerors! Welcome to the stream. Let's jump into it, shall we? For this one, I will need my headphones and I will need to readjust my After Effects so that it fits in with my OBS, which probably will not be the case. As you can see, OBS is just about peeking out here. I don't have two screens, so I have to make do with rearranging my windows and squishing and squashing them until they fit properly. But here we are, and I should probably also test if the audio is working for you, because we do have an audio track. Hello, Sandro, welcome back. Thanks for finding your way to the second stream today. I did stream earlier. My break was a little bit over 10 minutes. Sorry about that if you were looking at the clock. But we did stream a little bit of stream graphics. I've been updating my stream graphics, which you saw in the beginning of this stream. Those were the updated stream graphics. So we did a little bit of streaming of that just under half an hour ago. And now we're setting off to animate this explainer video. Okay, let me check that the audio is working. I think it's currently turned off, so we don't have... Let's test that. Okay, I can't hear anything. You should be able to hear something, but I can't hear anything. So I will probably need to change my setup, my preferences in After Effects. Let's see what the issue is. And if there's any issues on your side, if there's lagging, if you can't see something, sometimes I do have the habit of of zooming in and then not zooming out when it's necessary. So do let me know. Oh, yes, right. I turned off my headphones. That's why I can't hear anything. So it's actually already set up correctly. Let's play that again.
Be applied. The next obvious step is
All right, so you should be able to hear that fine. Let's get into it. I'll make my OBS push that aside a little bit so it's not interfering. And let's readjust my After Effects setup. So many compositions. And let's reacquaint ourselves with this animation. Let's see.
the next obvious.
Oh, it's playing directly. I'm not sure why, because actually it should first pre-render and then it should start playing. Let's see, shift, cache before playback. Yes, okay, let's do cache before playback. That way it shouldn't play back while it's rendering, but after it has rendered. So there's about 2 scenes that are rendering right now. 2 kind of overarching scenes. Audio is okay. Thank you very much for confirming that. Excellent. We are ready to go. So at this stage, we're talking about how a hacker might get initial access, then the execution stage would start where they would try... Whoop, sorry, now Andy's talking. Then the execution stage would happen where they try to install some sort of malware onto your computer. And the initial access is via maybe some spam email where there is an attachment that you're not supposed to open or a link that you're not supposed to click on. That's how they would get to you. Then they would execute that malware. And in order execution, there is a typo, you say? Huh. How do you spell execution if not that way? Tell me. Let's see. Gain initial access. Execution with an S. Now I see it. Yes, you're quite right. Let's double check. I must double check if that's indeed the case. I'm sure you're right. But you know, it's always good to double check. Yes, I've written execution with the T. Execution should be with an S if you are not mistaken, and if I'm also not mistaken. The act of execution is in fact spelled with a T, my friend. Here is the proof. Oh, excellent. You can proofread for me. That is very helpful. Okay, here we go. Execution with a T. I am correct. Unless this is a different type of execution, it should be correct. Oh, it's written. Oh, okay. I get it now. Mine is written with an S. It should be written with a T. Okay. Got you. I am incorrect. You are correct. Alright, now I think it's this. No, that's the exe. I need to find out which one it is because these are my very own essential graphics templates. So the text, as you can see here, I mean, if you can see that, it's quite small, but it's one composition and I can just change the text inside of it by opening this up here and changing the text in here, and execution should be with a T. Thank you very much, Sandro. Absolutely. Very helpful that you guys are proofreading for me. Mythical ASMR. Wow, we've got the ASMR community in the chat. Welcome. I love ASMR. Mythical ASMR asks, I want to change my career and want to animate like you. Tell me where to start. You should probably start in acquainting yourself with what exactly it is that you would like to animate. So animating like me, that has a lot of a lot of nuances, I would say. So I have learned how to animate through various methods and processes, and going to university, but also learning online, and also working in a corporate environment, and also working in a studio. So that was about 10 years summed up in my career. So, and also I'm really into educational content. So a lot of what I do is explainer videos such as this one that you're seeing right now. And also I love expressions. I love creating efficient methods of systems, and using code and that sort of thing, and these sort of templates that I've put together myself. So within everything that I just said, I think it's really important for you to understand what it is that you want to do. What is your end goal? Where do you want to work? Because that will inform what you need to learn in order to get there, right? You kind of need to trace your footsteps back from your goal. So let's say you want to create explainer videos for NGOs. Okay, great. So what does that mean? Let's narrow that down even more. You want to create 2D vector animation explainer videos for NGOs, right? That's very specific, but that's the best way to understand how you need to start. It doesn't mean that once you've learned everything you need to learn, you can only work at that specific place that you've, put your eye on, or set your sight on. That's probably the best way to say it. But it gives you a starting point. So let's say you want to do that. You want to create 2D motion graphic explainer videos for NGOs, which is very similar to my career path, only that I don't necessarily work for NGOs all the time, but I have in the past. So you probably need to learn how to use Adobe Illustrator and Adobe After Effects, because those are the two tools that you will need for 2D vector motion graphics. Illustrator is where you create and manipulate your graphics and set them up for animation. After Effects is where you animate your graphics, where you create the movement and tell the story in animation form, right? So that means you need to find courses or tutorials. There are online classes. I have online classes on my website, classes.sonjagaricek.me. You can find them on my website. But there are many free tutorials that you can find on YouTube. You don't have to pay for education in order to learn Adobe software, Illustrator, or After Effects, or even Premiere Pro. There are plenty of free resources out there. I have some very short tutorials myself on YouTube. So you can find all of those things for free. So first steps, learn the software. As you're learning the software, you will be learning through creating animations, right? Most classes and tutorials are set up, oops, sorry, I just hit my mic, are set up in such a way that as you're learning how to do that, you will end up with a portfolio piece. And that is the next step. Build up a portfolio, create little animations. They don't need to be a full 8-minute video as I'm animating right now, but they can just be little 3 to 6 second animations. You'll probably start off with animating a bouncing ball. That's a classic animation just to learn pacing, squash and stretch, timing, and all of that sort of stuff that fits into the 12 principles of animation. That's another term that you could research and see what that means. And once you start kind of learning and building a portfolio, in that time you can also start looking for jobs and say, hey, I've done this, would you like me to do that for you? And if your goal is to work for NGOs, you could volunteer. I volunteer for a local TEDx organization, which is a sub-organization of TED, which are the big speaking events So you can volunteer in local organizations, animate things for them for free, of course, because it's, you know, it's just a social aspect, helping out your community. And then as you're growing your work and your confidence in your skills, you can start looking for jobs. And if you've worked as a volunteer and you want to work in it as or for an NGO, then you have that skill set. You have that in your portfolio, you have that in your CV, being able to say, look, I've worked with these organizations, I'm ready to work for you. So that would be my suggestion of how to move forward to become a professional motion designer. And Con Rockers learned on YouTube and Vimeo, sorry, not video, Vimeo. Those are perfect platforms to find all kinds of free classes, tutorials, and learning materials. So definitely check that out if you want to learn motion design and animation. All right, let's have a look what we've got here. So we've got the execution, we've got the persistence, which the persistence in this animation, well, in this MITRE ATT&CK system means that the hacker wants to create multiple paths of re-entering the same location. So re-entering your machine, for example, to like, so they can continue disrupting you and continue hacking you, essentially. And then we're going into the next scene, which is this one. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So let's also make this window slightly smaller. Oh, that's not somehow not working. Ah, what is happening? Okay, there we go. I'm trying to make this smaller but large enough for everyone to see. Thank you, Mythical ASMR. Have a good time, and I hope everything works out for you. And if you have any other questions, do drop them in the chat. All right, so the next scene from this one is this one. We've got the little guy, defense evasion. And I think we need to set up this scene. So let's go into my scene folder. It's a bit of a mess. Let's turn this, no, the details pane we can have, the navigation pane, let's turn that off for now. And we've got persistence. Now we need the next scene, and I'm just gonna go into my storyboard, which I have right here. Illustrator is taking its sweet time. How's everybody doing today? It's such a beautiful day here in Munich. I did a little bit of a bike ride today just to enjoy the sun because it's supposed to get a little bit cloudy later today. So hopefully I was able to take advantage of the beautiful sunshine. All right, here we are. Oh, it doesn't want to snap. Okay, it snaps kind of, but not to the side I want, to the size I want it to snap to. All right, you should be able to see enough, hopefully. All right, so the next scene we have is this one. We need to set the scene up. And I was wondering, like, until when I want this to be set up, because ideally, I probably want this to be the next scene and this entire scene here. Oh, I see. This is part of that scene. Ooh. It's cloudy in the north of England. Yeah, I would expect as much. It's a little bit, it's been a few days of really warm weather, but it's getting cold in between, you know, like dips down to 17 degrees Celsius, and I hate that. It's June. I want sun and heat and, you know. Okay, I think from here all the way until about here can probably be one scene, to be honest. Unless... How do I deliver my storyboards to clients? Normally as a PDF. So what you're seeing in this PDF is normally how I would deliver a storyboard. So you can see the voiceover at the bottom here. You can see the scene number. The scene number is only really relevant for myself. I would not include that for the client, but for myself, I include that because I number my scenes, as you can see here. I number them, and therefore this is useful to have in the storyboard just for myself. And yeah, so it kind of indicates how the animation might work in a few frames, kind of a precursor to an animatic. I don't often do animatics, but generally speaking, I try to set up a storyboard in such a way where you can sort of see a bit of the animation in it. So it's like in this one, for example, right? You can see this one's coming in, then the other one's coming in, then it's moving up, and then the lines are coming in. So I'm kind of indicating the animation. But yeah, it's just in PDF format. I set them up in Illustrator, and then I export them as PDFs. In this case, these scenes are actually two Illustrator files, because there are so many scenes that they have to be two Illustrator files. So I export the two Illustrator files, and then I merge the two PDFs. Okay, I don't like having too many items in one scene, so I'm trying to decide if I should have all of this in one scene or not. It's quite a lot, but at the same time, they're kind of interacting with each other, so maybe I should. You're trying to influence your colleagues to move away from PowerPoint slides for storyboards and visual design storyboards. Wow, I've never heard anybody make PowerPoint slides for storyboards. That is intense. I mean, PowerPoint is such an awkward tool. Like, I work with PowerPoint quite a lot in my day job, and it serves its purpose for certain aspects. You know, you can create a design, and a non-designer can make text changes, for example. It's very useful for that. But if you're working in a creative environment, you've got to use design tools. You can't use Office tools for that. Sandro, it's very hot in Sardinia. Wow, you're tuning in from Sardinia. Nice. It's difficult to try and convince people when they have a certain view on how things should work. So I understand your pain that you're trying to, you know, convince your colleagues, and it's a little bit difficult because they are used to a certain setup. I get it, but hopefully you can make a case for it for yourself. It's in these situations, like I've been in many situations where I need to convince somebody to sort of do it my way, you know, or like convince them why doing it a different way might be more beneficial for the work. And sometimes you can convince people, sometimes you can't, but you want to try and not push your opinion on them, but instead show them what benefits they might have. Maybe you want to create a PowerPoint presentation on why PowerPoint is not the right design tool, you need to give people, you need to show them the benefit of why doing it differently will be beneficial, because doing something differently to what they're used to ultimately means they have to do more. It's an effort on their part to learn a new tool, to change their modus operandi. So you need to show them, I understand it's difficult for you and I have sympathy for that. But if we do it like this, we might save time, we might be able to work better in a team, whatever the reasons are that will improve your workflow. You need to highlight them as benefits for them rather than, oh, come on, don't be so I don't know, like stubborn, just change. You wanna kind of bring them on your journey to convince them to do what you want to do. So I have a reference layer here, which is the title, because I mark my reference layer with ref in all caps, ref underscore, and then whatever the layer is, because I have this title layer pre-animated already. You've seen it here, right? These are pre-animated, so all I need to do is change the text in them. So I am keeping the reference layer just so I know what it needs to say here, what position it needs to be in, and so on. And then I take all of the other graphics that I need for this, which I think everything should be in here, if I'm not mistaken. Or perhaps in this screen. Hopefully. Let's see. Let's copy this in here. And let's see if everything is in here. There should be some... Ooh, there are no hidden layers. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to copy this as well. I thought I had it set up in such a way already that everything was ready. Okay. Let's have a look in my files. What I try to do when I set these things up is I try to have everything included. But I guess not everything was included here. What about this one? But it still doesn't... So this one is now full screen. I think that's intentional, actually. So let's grab this at full screen, because then I'll zoom it out with the screen. So I need some more layers in here. Now we've got another reference layer, which is ref grant access. And I also like to use camel case, which is lowercase words, and every first letter of each new word is uppercase and no spaces between the words. So grant access, so the A of access has no space between grant and access, but has a capital A. So we've got the grant access, that's going to be a reference layer. And then there's one more reference. We've got defense evasion, which honestly probably could be its own scene, but it's just two graphics in that scene. I'll just move this into this scene. So we also have no, what is this? It's not grant access. Privilege escalation. Right, so your client requires the PowerPoint for the storyboard and another PowerPoint file for visual design storyboard. So what's the difference between the storyboard and the visual design storyboard? But I understand the workaround. It, unfortunately, in some cases, it is like that. The client wants it a certain way, so you have to abide. But I understand it's a little annoying. I wonder why the client needs that though. Why, if you are the design team that is creating the assets, why would the client need to be able to make changes to the storyboard? That's just a little odd. Because if you want to make changes or want to give feedback on a storyboard, usually the way I do it is I have the client comment on the PDF and then I would apply the changes. So it's strange that your client insists on having access to the editable file. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, let's make sure that I understand this correctly. We've got, we also have this delete logs. Okay, let's go systematically because there's quite a few files here. So this is not the first scene. First we need the delete logs one, which should be part of this here. I'll just grab this. First I'll grab all of the assets and then I'll make sure that I have, then I'll like start separating the assets. So this is the PC. I can already separate the PC from this. I don't need that to be below. What is this? Okay. So this is all one thing. And then we've got the screen, which is the clipping mask. Okay, I'm gonna take the PC out. I'm gonna take the background of that PC out. Oh no, I can't do that because this is a clipping mask. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, if the client is refusing and they really want a certain type of file, I think you'll have a hard time convincing them. But again, you know, if somebody higher up would make the case to the client, you might be successful in changing that workflow. But like I said, somebody needs to make that benefit statement. Sorry, we've got a little bit of chewing ASMR, unintentional. Eating a few delicious strawberries that are now available again. Okay, I'm trying to figure out in what order I need to set this up in. So, I need these logs, but for some reason I didn't include the text for the logs. See how there is like this text? I was a little unclean in setting up this storyboard. So these lines should have been available here in this file already, which they were not. But that is my mistake. But that's okay, I can just align these. Just align that like this. And then I can delete the previous log file. So, what do we need? First, we want the screen with the logs to come in. Then we want a mouse to go to that delete logs and delete all of the little log files. Okay. So, I also am unsure why the screen isn't just the size of the screen. Let's move this here. Oh, what happened there? Why is that suddenly gray? Oh, right, it's on top. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's weird. Why is this gray? Something's going on. So when it's here, it's white. Oh, I see. Okay. Let me just fix this. This has a color, which it shouldn't have. Oh, but this color is apparently not visible? Ah, what is happening? Okay, I think I'm just going to unclipping mask this clipping mask because I don't know what's going on here. Something's broken. I do not use clipping masks from After Effects and sorry, from Illustrator and After Effects because they don't work correctly. I create a mask layer, so I need to unclip all of these masks. I need to use a mask layer in After Effects for it to work correctly, and my headphones just turn themselves off, which they tend to do when I'm not listening to anything for a while. Actually, I can just keep them off since right now we need to set up this file before we continue animating. So, sometimes, usually when you have a clipping mask, you should be able to click on it, right click, and then undo clipping mask. If it doesn't give you that option, what you can do is you can go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Release Clipping Mask. But obviously you have to have the right clipping mask highlighted, and I don't know why I cannot highlight. Ah, something must be hidden here. Oh, okay, so it was there. That entire thing here. Yep. So it was there. Okay, that's fine. So, can I now unclip this clipping mask? There must be some hidden objects, maybe? Why I can't... Ah, there we go. Okay, so we have all of the little gadgets that I copied separately. Alright, now can I unclip this clipping mask? Yes, release clipping mask. Excellent. Alright, so now we should have everything in this file, and I should just be able to separate it all. So everything, all of these things that I, pasted in, I can just keep them in here. But I can keep this as a reference. Last screen. This is the size it should be once it has reached this. This, I don't know if I need it. But let's go piece by piece. So, we need this as a frame. And we need the screen on top of our PC, obviously. So this is the frame, I think, for this computer, but I don't know why I can't see this. Or was this the clipping mask? Let's make sure that the screen is set up correctly. Yeah, there is no stroke around this frame, which is fine. So we've got the PC and we've got our various pieces of content that are supposed to appear on this PC. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this. I'm going to highlight this layer and also the circle. And I'm going to click, you can't see that because it's just outside of frame. I'll just make this smaller. You go to the hamburger icon and you go to release layers sequence. And then all of the little groups become top level layers. And top level layers are the only layers that show up in Illustrator, right? You can't access these groups unless you release, you create shape layers from vector. That's the only way. So you have a workshop meeting that you're setting up for visual designers to understand what they are designing for inside After Effects. Okay, great. To smooth out the pipeline between visual designers and motion designers. Okay, so your term visual designers is very different to my understanding of visual designers. I would refer to anybody creating assets for motion designers as illustrators. But that's, you know, that's just naming a difference that not everybody adheres to. Okay, so we've got this one, which is the last frame. Let's move that to the top. But this is an old frame, so this already doesn't work. So I'm going to actually get rid of this. So we do, in fact, need this one. All right. Now, the next thing, this is the cursor. We've got an empty layer here where we moved the layers out, so we can delete that one. We've got the blend path. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's those things. Okay, I don't think we need that anymore because we have it here. Okay, so we've got this, but we do want to separate out this, like the blend layer, the text, the pretend logs. So these are the logs screen. Right, so your visual designers create diagrams and e-learning content. Yeah, that makes sense for them to be called visual designers. It's more of a generic term, I guess. Okay, so we've got all of this. We need the little button to be separate because that button needs to be clicked. Logs button. So this delete logs needs to be separate. The cursor needs to be above this so it can actually click that button. And I think that's everything we need from this screen. Excellent. Now let's move to the next screen. This is an empty layer. We can delete that. Next screen is, let's have a look, which is this screen with the little dude. Okay, so let's separate that out. We've got the little guy with the ladder that needs to be separated out. So we've got the ladder, we've got the dude, but the dude also needs to be, like, at least the arms might need to be separated out, probably the legs too. So let's see, lots of little pieces in here. Let's group the backpack and the body. Oops. I held shift. We want to hold control. Probably want this above as well. Ooh, no. Needs to be above the strap, but below the backpack. Okay. Now I am going to create a layer, move this guy in there. We're gonna have to separate him out. And then this is the ladder, I think. Yep. So let's move that out as well. This is the ladder. And this is actually the second screen. So we've got defense evasion and privilege escalation. So this is privilege. I'll copy this word out. Privilege. What was it? Ah, yes, privilege. So I like to group my assets together by topic, so to speak. And this one is part of the privilege group. There you go. Finished the sentence. And this is actually, this is grant access, right? Defense evasion. So this is actually defense. Whoops. Oh no, what did I do? No. Cancel. I should probably save this file before something crashes and then I'm not able to save the file. So we've got Andy's work here. And this is scene 9. I'm writing my scene 090 and it's called defense. Defense. All right. So this is the PC. This is the defense logs screen. This is the defense logs. This is the defense. Oops. Oh no, I've been adding privilege. I meant defense. Right, then we have the defense cursor. It's also part of defense. We don't need it afterwards. Then we've got the privilege information screen, which should include, there's a cursor. Yeah, we don't really need this stuff because we're gonna use this stuff later. But we can have this as a reference. Ref. I think this is the, is this the privilege information? No, this is the grant access. So this is going to be ref access. So I know the size it needs to be when we're zooming in. Now this is the privilege ladder, privilege hacker. And I also need to break this guy apart. Actually, the hat can be... let's have the hat separate. We can do a nice little animation with the hat. So, now we've got privileged hacker, body. Actually, yeah, sure. This is foot left and left from my perspective. Foot right. Then this is leg left. Leg right. And then we've got the hat. Arm left. Right, we've got that set up. We don't need this hacker layer anymore. This is a reference layer. Whoops, sorry. Hit the mic a little bit. And then we've got the last screen, which is this. And I think then we have everything. So I don't need the cursor anymore. We've got this card, we've got the login screen, we've got the login button, we've got the... Actually, maybe we do keep the cursor. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so first we need to ungroup this, and we need all of these layers. Oops, there was still a group. Now I can sequence the layers. If it's grouped, it will only give you a new layer for that one group. So this is the credential, I think it was access window. And let's copy this access word so I can keep using it. Card slot. But I need to see if... Okay, so that's that. Oh, what is this one? Can't see what this is. Oh, that's the frame. Okay. Why is the frame separate? No idea. Okay, so we don't need this. What is this? Another frame. That's so odd. Why are they why are there multiple frames? It's so odd. Okay. Okay. Then we don't need this either. Now we've got the window. So I do need a mask for this little like card, this ID card to slide in. Access mask, which will just be the size of the window. Yep. I'll duplicate that and I'll remove the what did I want to say? I'll remove the stroke, right. So now we can turn off the mask for now. Now we've got this lock, and the lock needs to be separated into the lock part and the top, the bottom and the top part. Access, oops. Lock. What do you call the, oops, I spelled access with one S in this instance. I don't know, it's like the lock and the closure, like the snap? I don't know. Top. Okay. I don't know what to call it. Lock top. Lock top. I don't know. So this... So we've got this, we've got this. What is this blue thing? Oh, right, that's the lock, but we don't need the clipping mask. I don't know why there's a clipping mask here. This should just be part of the window. Yeah. So we've got the, yeah, we've got the lock. Then we've got the ID. ID. Then we've got the ID as it goes inside the slot. And we need I think I can use the access card slot as a mask separately. Ah, no, I need to... Yeah, there's a mask here. I will use this as the mask. Let's make this red. Card slot mask. And actually, maybe this needs to be the other way around because we want to see it before, but not when it goes inside. So reverse the mask and then ref card vertical. Oh, there's a reference for that. Now, let's turn off the ID. Then there's the passcode. Access password. Access button. Access cursor. All right. So now we've set up all of the, almost. We're missing the little guy here. I think that's the only thing missing at this point. This little guy at the beginning, we need him. And let's save this. And let's move him in here. Need to turn all of this off so that we can see this guy. And then I can sequence that. So now we've got the body, but I also want to use the body as a mask for the mask. So first I think what I'm gonna do is have no mask here. Oh, how can I release that? Yep, release mask path. So this is the body and this is the mask, and in After Effects I can just use the body as a set mat. And so this is the defense hacker. Is that right? Yeah, this is the defense hacker. So let's grab this. Defense hacker right, probably. Left. Defense hacker body. Defense hacker mask. Defense hacker leg. Left. Leg right. Ooh, the feet. I'm gonna keep the feet separate from the legs because I might want to animate them. I might do a little walk cycle. I don't know yet. This is the eye. This is the hat. No, this is the iris. Pupil, actually, but I tend to say iris because pupil is something else to me. Woo! All right. That was quite a bit. That was quite a bit of work. I didn't think it was going to take that long to create. But basically, yeah, that's all we have time for today. So as soon as this animates away, this little scene would come on, and what we would first see is this little defense hacker putting on his little defense mask. Then the computer would come into view. Then we've got the defense logs here that will be deleted by the hacker. Then we've got the PC needs to stay on. Then we've got the ladder coming in and the privilege hacker climbing up as we see, oh, I don't need this last screen anymore, as we see the, not the access, what's the next? Actually, yes, it is this screen. It's the access screen, but zoomed out, or scaled down, rather. Then we zoom into that screen, and then all we see is that access being granted. What is this? Yes, right. This is the mask so that the card can slide in, and also the cursor can slide in. Yeah. That's going to be it for today. Where's the card slot? Here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for a beautiful stream back in full force. We are ready to kick things off. I don't know when the next stream is going to be, so if you are curious, if you want to join in, do make sure to follow me on Twitter. I always announce when I'm streaming on Twitter, but most likely and best thing to do would be to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Sonja MGFX VODs. Sorry, I was going to say mods. Sonja MGFX VODs is the streaming channel, and hopefully next time we can actually stream on that channel rather than on the main channel and link it over to the other channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you next time when we will animate this screen, this scene, not this screen. There's lots that I still want to do for streams, and yeah, let's do that. Thanks everyone, thank you, and if you'd like to support me, I also do have a Patreon, so you can find me under Sonja MGFX on Patreon. I have a Ko-fi, I have a Buy Me a Coffee. You can donate as much as to your heart's content, that's the saying. Or you can just come and join and chat while we animate. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Bye!